We have a massive power, and it's the power to say no.
2024 is the year when the pushback begins in earnest.
People ain't seen nothing yet. That's what I keep telling people.
It is a master-servant relationship where we, the governed, are the masters.
Doctors are gaslighting patients.
You press down enough on people for long enough, you leave them no choice but to rebel.
So, no, I don't want to forget about it, and I won't shut up about COVID.
The story of the unvaccinated is still yet to be told.
We are one people, one flag, one Australia.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the XCandidates. My name is Stephen Tripp, joined by Mr. Adam Zahra. We missed you last week, Adam. How was Queensland?
Queensland was really awesome, mate. It was really good. Sorry to everyone. You didn't have the talker or the chin wagger on the show. But I was en route home, so we left a little bit late, and I just couldn't get back in time to get home. But we had a great time up in Queensland. What is it? Beautiful one day, perfect the next. So it was pretty good.
It's a nice part of the world. You can't be unhappy when you're up on the Gold Coast. It's beautiful straight away when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And we were overlooking the beach as well. So we were just, had to open up the window and just straight out to the water. And it was pretty damn good, actually. And we were up there for a really good reason as well. So it was a shame that we missed out on Kevin, but it was really good. And I know Kevin watches, say g'day, Kevin. Sorry, I missed you. Love chats. We're up there for a good reason. And that's why we've got our special guests on tonight, because they had their inaugural Queensland breakfast. And, we thought we'd see how they go on. We had them on early when they first started. And then it's been almost a year, hasn't it, Stephen? I think about a year, actually. Since
it was episode 68 that we had Pat on last. So it's been a while, so it'll be good to chat with him again. But before we get into it, and I might let you introduce him, Adam, because you've developed some good relationships with all our guests tonight. But before we get there, I'll let everyone know about Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to support what we do here, head to Buy Me a Coffee. And it's been a bit quiet lately, which is not the end of the world. But if anyone wants to support us, you can head there and contribute that way. You can also head to our T-shirt shop. And if you want to get an XCandidates or Commanding the Narrative T-shirt, that's another way of supporting us. Adam mentioned Kevin Lockray. You can get your Kevin Lockray for the Senate T-shirt. Put it in any color that you want. And any profits from that T-shirt sale will go to Kevin's campaign. It was a really great episode with Kevin last week. So I encourage everyone to go back and watch that. He's just a wealth of knowledge, that man. It's just amazing. And he'll be back on the show again. We like having him on a regular basis. So, Adam, you'll be able to catch up with Kevin again. But
I wish I had half his knowledge. Yeah, imagine if you had half his knowledge. I like the mechanical side of things, I like all the engineering stuff that he does. So, and I mean, designing a gun that the military use and all that kind of stuff. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's wicked. Like,
just imagine him up in Bell and all the locals coming in. Can you fix my car? Can you fix my fridge? And he'd do it too.
It'd be like, hey, I fixed your car, and now you get like 300 miles per gallon. You know what I mean? Like, it's he'd be wicked. He'd be awesome. He'd be able to. Oh, mate, some of those. Oh, wait, what is it? I've invented that new manifold. I've installed that in your system now, so now you can just run it on garbage, just like a future car. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's right. One last thing before we get into it. The Light newspaper. Now, I'm sure a lot of our viewers are familiar with the Light newspaper, but they're really trying to get it out there now. Joel Jamal is getting right behind this as well. So if you want to become a distributor in Sydney, you can call that number there on the screen, 0406 861 816. There's actually Paul Vallejo, who's been a former guest on the XCandidates and Commanding the Narrative as well. He's really helping out and getting behind this as a distributor. So you'll be able to get yours, and it's only about 15 cents a copy. And then the public will be able to consume these for free. So all you need to do is pay for the actual wholesale cost of the paper. So if you think of it at 15 cents, it's 150 copies for what's my maths like, Adam?
Oh, I don't know, but I've got a calculator here. So what is it? 0.22 times by what?
15 cents a copy. So if you get 100 copies, it should be $15. If you're outside Sydney, you can head to thelighaustralia.com and look, get behind them if you're out in Western Sydney or Penrith, Parramatta, even if you're up on the Central Coast or in Wollongong, call that number. I guess I should put it quickly up on the screen again, 0406 861 816, and you can become a distributor of the Light newspaper. It's a great way of getting information out there, and as we're facing misinformation and disinformation laws and censorship and all that sort of stuff, we may eventually have to revert back to hard copy information. So if you want to do some letterboxing or drop it into your local newsagent or doctor's surgery or something like that, get behind the Light newspaper, and it's a great way of getting information out. But Adam, you can do the honors tonight and introduce our very special guests.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm meant to introduce them now. Sorry. Obviously, I'm not the one who introduces people, but I've got... Okay, so we've got... I thought you were going to bring them up on the screen. Okay, so we've got very special guests tonight. Okay, we've got Andrew, we have Lepa, and we have Pat. And these guys are, I guess, the guys for Be Kind Friday. So what happens is Pat started Be Kind Friday with Adam about a year ago, and then Andrew is the Queensland. Wait a minute, I've written down Queensland Activation Representative, and we also have Lepa, and Lepa's on here as well, and she does. She works with us in the Sydney when we do the morning stuff and what do you call it, the breakfasts and all those kind of things. So welcome aboard, guys. Good to see you. I'm not the introduction guy, so Steve just hung me out to dry. So don't worry about it, guys. This is the kind of show that we're on. How are you all anyway?
Good,
great.
Good, thank you. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll start. Yeah, Stephen's already got a question. Let's go.
Pat, you've been on before, as we said, episode 68. How have you been? It's been a while since we've spoken to you. How's Be Kind Friday going?
It's moving quickly. I think after our very first event, that's when we come on the show, and at that very first event, we weren't even registered as a not-for-profit organisation. We just set up on the side of the road, got a few people together, and it's like Lepa was one of the ones up, yep, I'm there. And yeah, we had Alka Power come down there. And it was a pretty crazy event because as I just started posting things up, all these people who just came out of the woods and said, I want to be involved in this. Whatever you guys are doing, I love it. And I want to be a part of it. And the crazy thing is that very first day and the crew that we had there on the first day still form part of the crew today. And that's the base. No one extra has come in or left, and we still have that same crew. So from then, it just shot off. Because it was so busy that first time, we've got a lot of messages coming through. I said, okay, we need to go the right way about this. And we registered as a non-for-profit. And as you know, paperwork takes a lot of time. It's not easy. So many things to fill out, so many boxes to tick. So that took about 2 months to get rolling. And then, yeah, we started going to different council areas and just getting approval through the councils to do our events. Obviously, is a headache as well. A lot of paperwork for that too. But now we're running sweet, and we're about like 6 months in advance now. So we booked out to the end of the year. So I like to stay ahead about 3 to 4 months. I like to stay ahead just so I know we've got events coming up and we can plan for them. But it's been great, and we just had our first one in Queensland that Andrew organised, and that was out of this world.
Yeah, it was really busy. That's where I was, guys. So that's went up there, and I mean, just so many people, and what gets me about the whole thing is that people feel like they start reaching for their wallet, like, you know, like no one's expecting anything for anything anymore, you know, like it's I guess that's my first question I've got, you know, like, so like what inspired you guys to encourage people? And like you can all answer like, you know, differently, but what inspired you guys to encourage people to spread kindness? And has society really become that bad where they've forgotten this simple act?
Who do you want to go to first?
Anyone who wants to answer first. Pat, you go first, and then I'll say Andrew, then Lepa.
Okay. Well, I just think we lost our way a long time ago, and I've said this before. As we go into things where we get convenience with using cards and online shopping, we think that we're saving time to spend more time with our families, where we're not. We're using that extra time to work harder, work longer hours, and we've just lost our connection with our neighbours, our family, our friends. There's pretty much zero time. But by the time you leave to go to work, a lot of people work in the city, commute for 2-3 hours, then coming home 7 o'clock, quickly feed the kids, bang, wake up, groundhog day every day, and it's on repeat. So we try to ask people to take some time out and just simply, first of all, acknowledge the people around you, because we've forgotten to do that. And with everyone on their phones these days, it's horrible to see. Like, you go driving in the morning, have a look at the people walking on the road or crossing the road. They've all got their heads down. And I think people just don't remember how to communicate with people or look up and smile at someone else. So I think that's where Be Kind Friday comes in, with like, just to slow down. Like, you've seen at some of our events, people are that strung up going to work or running late to work. They're flying past our setup, and sometimes I walk with them for about 50 meters or 100 meters because they don't want to stop because they're rushing to work. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute, have a little chat to them. And once they see what we're about, they go, oh my God, that's beautiful. I said, and that's what it's about. All we ask, you go put a smile on someone else's face today and just take that time out to recognize. Could be your work colleagues at work, could be anyone, just someone on the street when you're walking past, a smile. That's all it takes. But the way I see it these days, you look at the people around you on their way to work, they look like a bunch of robots. I don't like saying that, but that's what it looks like. And it's scary to see that we're heading in this direction. So I think we're just trying to wind that back and get that kindness back out there and connecting the communities together, just to spread some love, because I just think that was lost a long, long time ago. And then obviously through the pandemic, that's gotten a lot worse. So that's where I'm at the moment.
No, that's awesome, mate. Okay, Andrew, we've got you now.
Yes. Look, very, very similar to Pat. I got involved with Be Kind Friday, thanks to Adam, actually, who's one of friends of my wife. And, and obviously following the posts and everything that was happening, one day he said, well, why don't you come and join one of our Zoom calls? And immediately I said, most definitely, I was just on board. And when I met the rest of the team, funnily enough, I only met the team in person, in physical life, last week. Apart from Pat, when I popped by, I think Easter time, I went down to Sydney, and Adam, obviously, because I knew before. But the rest of the team, I'd never met them. And, I just fully came on board with who they were as individuals. They were just such kind-hearted people. And I said, you know what? I need this in my life as well, because I'm one of those people which has always been, at work and hustling. And I got 2 young kids, and unfortunately I've neglected my family. And I said, if I start getting, more of this kindness, being around the same like-minded people, maybe it can help transform me to a better version of myself as well. As an individual that works in hospitality, I'm constantly the person that has to have the smile on my face, has to be welcoming. So it does come natural to me, but unfortunately, I've always neglected my family, right? So I said, if I get more involved in this, I can start to begin to realize that, it's nice to give to others, but also I need to now start thinking I kind of have to reverse everything the other way around, because I'm now so into giving to others and getting other people involved and making people aware of what Be Kind Friday is. I just love completely what we're all about. And it's become such a passion for me. And, a couple of months ago, we were on one of the Zoom calls, and, just out of now, I said, let's do a Queensland activation. And, at the beginning, I was a bit hesitant. I'm like, well, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here because I've got no one here in Queensland to help me out. And the team were like, well, Pat and the team, they were just like, yes, most definitely, let's plan it. And it just kind of was, it will be in the pipeline. And before you know it, the minute I have, the slightest of hints, okay, something's going to go ahead, I just started seeing what I'm going to do and get everything connected. And I said, Pat, done. We fixed the date. And before you know it, I was just, my days off, it was just Be Kind Friday for about 3 months. 3 months nonstop, hustling to get this event, because I felt that, the team over in Sydney, they were doing it month on month, right? Every first Friday of the month. And I said, I'm part of this team, but I haven't contributed, to the least to what they have already contributed. I said, I need to make up for the lost months, right? So went full out, and I'm really, really glad. And to be honest, and I told the team when we met up, even for dinner after the activation we had, I said, you know what? And everyone was thanking me, it was a great event. I said, no. I said, to be honest, this is not me. I did the foundation. If it weren't for you, we couldn't have activated this Queensland activation. It is a team at the end of the day, and it does take all of us being aligned with what we're doing to help, put in effect and you plant that seed to others, as the famous words of Adam and the ripple effect on others. So I'm just so glad that this activation came, and even until yesterday, I came across people, and I still have mission statements in my car. I keep some in my work bag. Once I'm speaking to people, I randomly get out one of these. I say, listen, this is what Be Kind Friday is about. We had our last activation, and I'm still trying, to preach on about it and getting people to follow our Instagram to see whatever, because I now want to start, spreading Be Kind Friday around Queensland, build our team here in Queensland, and start getting these activations going. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward, because I'm still pumped from last week. Still pumped.
It was a great event. So you did really well, and it was awesome going up there. And I think all of us actually, took the time to go up with our families. I think we all went with our families, and we just, had a mad time with them. And all the kids get involved. It was really, really good.
That for me was just amazing, and that goes to show the team we have on board, to what extent everyone's gone to. Because if you just consider, we had 10 members. Everyone's come up, because obviously I'm the 11th one. 10 members, everyone's pretty much come up with the husband or wife and kids. They've stayed there from Thursday to Sunday. Some stayed till Monday. It was a massive expense as well for these people, and it's not just the activation, but, the effort. Some people drove up. It was just, undescribable. The amount, the large amount of satisfaction and happiness I got as an individual, that actually made me happy. It spread kindness to show, I'm not on my own here in Queensland. We actually have a team that made the effort to come over, so it was awesome. Honestly, it's unforgettable day.
As you said, like us just traveling there, Andrew, I must say, like when we're hopping on the plane, and I was sitting next to my wife, Renee, I said, can you believe what we're actually doing? I was like, we're actually having our first event in Queensland, and everyone's flying up or driving. Lepa's bringing a trailer. I was like, this is blowing my mind. I was like, what the hell are we doing? And I was like, this is crazy. But look at us go. Like, it's,
People need a lot of love. Like, people are needing a lot of love. And hey, Lepa, okay, so you're not off the hook. It's your turn. So what inspired you to encourage people to spread kindness?
I was so excited for a second.
And has society forgotten this simple act?
So what inspired me? Well, I've known Pat for a while, way before we started Be Kind Friday, and his wife Renee. I guess, look, through my life, I've always enjoyed doing something nice or special for someone else, family, friends, whatever it may be. So I guess through lockdown and everything that we all went through, it really shook a lot of people up, and I think it divided a lot of people. So when Pat came up with the idea that we would start Be Kind Friday, I was just automatic, because it was already in me. It was just something that was a no-brainer. I was just like, I'm in. And if it involved me cooking my food and giving out food for free, I'm there. So
you're awesome, burek.
Sorry?
You're awesome, burek.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you said, that first event we did, I don't think we really knew what we were doing, Pat. But it happened, and we did a great job, and we moved a lot of people that day. And I think from there we just started a wave, like everyone says. And I think, from doing it by myself to then finding a team that are similar to me, it's just a bigger force to bring more kindness out. And I don't know, I just love it.
Yeah, that's awesome, because it is such a good thing. And it's just, what, it always gets me. And I say, like, sometimes I'm just looking in the mirror and I say, why is it such a point now where people like yourselves, even like me participating and stuff like that, why is it up to people like us to get out there and do this kind of thing? Why do people need to be encouraged just to be kind? And what Pat was saying before, like, I'm on the road all day, every day. Right. And I look into, like, I'm in a big van and you look over to the side, and no one. It used to be people laughing, listening to music, listening to the radio, and listening to some radio host or something make something stupid, and they'd be laughing. Everyone is dead set, like Pat was saying now, straightforward and kind of looking down, even at the lights. Like where's that happiness gone? And I think spreading. We're in Queensland, and I've done a few events with you guys as well, like a couple of schools and whatnot, and like people just walk away with a smile on their face, like well, I've got something. Okay, thank you, and then they walk off. So it just astonishes me that society in Australia has fallen to that point where people like yourselves need to encourage them to actually say hi to somebody else and put a smile on somebody's face.
Yeah, but like I said, I think that was lost a long time ago. Especially in the elderly, they like to have a chat too. They don't have many people to talk to, so a lot of the events they hang around for a bit to have a chat. But as far as the events go, like there's no one in Australia doing what we do. So it's very, very unique to what we do, catering to everyone, not a specific group, because we want to touch everyone, regardless whether you're rich or poor, you're homeless. It doesn't matter. Everyone needs that bit of kindness. But I understand why there's not so many people doing this, because obviously council and paperwork is insane, and it scared probably everyone from doing it. Like if you see the amount of paperwork that I've got to go through for each event, you'd probably look at this like, I'm not doing this every month. I can't do this every month. So I'm not sure if council want to drive these type of things out of their areas, but these should be encouraged. Once a month at least in every single council area, there needs to be something like this every single month. It's just sad that we're just like you said, block formation, where this is what we're doing every day and that's it. But every month there needs to be something like this in every council area where everyone can just get together. But I'm not sure who needs to be spoken to about that, but it needs to happen. Some funding needs to go towards that, because we definitely need it. We definitely need it.
I agree with Pat. I think things like this, that there should probably be, a budget allocation to all local councils saying, listen, search for groups or non-profit, just like we are, and say, listen, there's, a couple of $1,000. You've got this council or this area that this month, put an activation. There's no paperwork, no loopholes to go through, and just get it done. At the end of the day, if and I understand, councils might not have time, to do these activations, but at least put people like us who are passionate about what we're doing. Let us do the activation, get it off your shoulders, but at least help us or back us up financially, because at the end of the day, it can cost a couple of hundred or thousands of dollars just to do such simple activations. And we're actually blessed we have such businesses that have shown us the support over the past 11 or 12 months, and people like Lepa as well. She's doing her own product, she's coming out of her own time. She could be elsewhere, having an activation, making money for her own business, but she's giving up her morning, to come and give out food as well. Businesses like Lint Australia, the amount of support that they give us is phenomenal. So look, we've been blessed with the businesses we've had on board so far.
Well, why don't we go through them just so people, so our viewers know, because these businesses are donating their product and time. So Pat, who's your main sponsors, and who's your sponsors or sponsored you over the last year? Did you hear me? You didn't hear me?
You there, Pat?
Yeah, so you're just breaking up there a bit, but
yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
who are your main sponsors?
The very first customer. I'm not sure if I'm talking over anyone now. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're good. Okay. So the very first company that hopped on board with us was obviously Lepa with Burek on wheels. Obviously, once we started doing things, Lepa was always there, even before we started the events, because it probably started a year before that. And Lepa was saying, "Give me some cards, or give me a sign. Make one of those Insta frames so I can take to my events." So pretty much from day one, even before the event started, Lepa was there. It's like bang, bang, bang. Give me this, give me that. I want to be part of it. And she was all over it. And every event, doing what she can do, getting up early to cook a burek before she even comes to the event if the trailer's not allowed there. And the same thing goes with Steve from Alka Power. I remember speaking to him before our first event, and I said to him, look, I'm going to buy 150 of your bottles to take to our first event. We're starting this thing called Be Kind Friday, and just gave him a quick rundown. And he was like, Pat, I'm there. I'm in. And ever since that day, he's like, he gives us a monthly giveaway as well. And he keeps asking me, Pat, what else can I give? I said, Steve, you're giving so much already. It's enough. But he's got a heart like all of us, and he just wants to give us so much more. It's crazy. And then every other place that I went to after that, like our local businesses here, whether it be Donut King or Baker's Choice, all those guys were absolutely amazing. And now we got Camden Valley Meats that has hopped on board with us. So it's good to have the support, so we're not outlaying so much money every month. Like Andrew was saying before, it all cost us a fair bit of money to travel to Queensland. Like with all the families that went up there, it would have been $15,000 to $20,000 just to get everyone up there, flights and accommodation. And then at every event, we're handing out about $15,000 worth of food and product. So that's a $35,000 event, close to $40,000 in that 2 to 3 hours. So they're big events. So we need as much support as possible. But we're lucky and we're graced with the team that we have. To obviously fund ourselves to travel up and do these events because we love what we do. So
it's good to mention as well, Pat.
Really good.
Good, Pat. Sorry to jump in. It's good as well to mention that most of the businesses and companies that have come on board with us have actually put their hands out to us. We haven't chased up anyone, and I think once Be Kind Fridays is more known across all the regions and people know what we're about, I believe we will have more businesses that might say, I can contribute this or I want to give this. There are lots of businesses that actually don't know how to contribute to the community. We can be a means and a platform for them to actually do what they want to do as well. So, same, as you're very aware of the businesses we had in Queensland. Obviously no one knew about Be Kind Friday in Queensland. This was our first activation. So I had to go around and, put the cards out. We had Mill Bakery. I just requested to catch up with Charmaine, with the owner. I sat down for 15 minutes, had a coffee with her at her bakery. She said, just tell me what you want. She barely went into, what are you doing? She said, just tell me what you want. I said, I'm seeking a bakery. We just need some donuts and some bread. And she's like, do you need coffee? Do you need I was like, okay, great. She knows what we're about now. She's fully on board. Went down to Meat and Grice, the butcher, which is literally next door to Mill, the Mill Bakery. And, sent an email to the owner. Sure, what is it you need? I said, just after some bacon and sausages. He's like, great, how much? On board. Veg, I literally reached out to a friend of mine who I used to work with. Well, he was the rep of the veg company we used to work with in my previous job. And he said, just send me an email, tell me whatever you want. Next day, received an email, all good, all on board. The day before the event, we were like, oh, I think it's going to be a bigger turnout than we expected. I'm like, do you reckon we can get another crate of eggs? Leave it with me. Delivered at my house. So it's just been great to see these businesses that have aligned with us, Same as well with Curves Cosmetics, Pat.
Yeah.
When I was putting out the posters down around Paradise Point, one of the businesses just got my number through the card and called me and said, hi, I'm Tia from Curves Cosmetics. Just spoke to the owner. We wish to give away 3 facials to give out at your event in the park. So it's just great to actually work with people like this. So we've been blessed as well.
I think it's easy to, like, once they know what we're about and they understand it, I think most of the companies are just willing to give. Like Lip Chocolate, I just sent an email to, and my cousin had a contact with them as well. And I just put an email through, and they're like, yeah, we're there. And so with a lot of the other companies, like Lepa put us onto Rampage Printing that do all our jumpers and T-shirts. And he loved what we were doing. He's like, yep, let's go. So, and it's just that connection. So like, Lepa's had a few messages from people wanting to help out and stuff like that. So once people know what it's about, it's not even an effort, because people just say, how can I help? And like, I'm the type of person, I don't want to take too much, but we have to understand that it's a non-for-profit organization. It's like, so what are you offering? And we'll take it. Nothing will go to waste. But yeah, it's kind of an easy run, knowing that obviously no one's profiting from this. Everything goes back out into the community. And look, it's just amazing what we do, I think, and I love everything we do. I'm quite sure the rest of the crew do. It's just, yeah, seeing people smile, puts a smile on my face, feeds my soul. Yeah, it's amazing.
I put the link in the chat if anyone wants to call in. I encourage people to do so. Call in and thank these guys for everything that they do. It's fantastic work. I was showing some images on the screen there before of what you guys do. If people are watching that and they want to get involved and they're thinking, hey, I want to do that in my area, how do I start? Or how do they get in contact with you guys? And are you guys looking to expand into other areas?
100% Queensland. Yeah. We actually had people reach out, the day after the event that came past in the park, and we had a few ladies. I want to come on board, whether it's a volunteer, whether join the team. And I'm actually compiling a list with all the names, email address, and contact numbers of anyone around the Gold Coast region that is interested to join and for us to form a Queensland team, obviously just as we do have down in the Sydney area. So most definitely over the coming months, I will be working to, my intention, let's be a bit optimistic, is probably at the 10 of the new year to hopefully have a team to start activating these at the beginning of every month come 2025. Yeah.
And is there an email or just contact you guys on Instagram, or what's the best way?
Yeah, Instagram or through email. Either way, you can get all that from our Instagram page at Be Kind Friday. So hop on there, send us a message or send us an email, and we're quick to reply. So we always get people asking to volunteer and stuff like that, and we get them on as soon as possible. And we start a volunteer list. We've had a few that have come on, and they love it. So, and it just depends on what areas we go to. I spoke to two ladies today. My kids played soccer in Cronulla, and actually bumped into two of the people that follow our page there. And they've already seen that we're going to be in Cronulla on the 6th of December, and they're there ready to go. So it's nice to see the words going around. And it's funny because that lady that I met up with at soccer in Cronulla, in Sutherland this morning, she was actually the very first lady to share the very first post. I didn't post anything. She was listening to the live with me and Adam. Her name is Nez. If you're watching, Nez, that's all you. She was the first one. After that discussion we had on the live, she put a post up and she wrote hashtag Be Kind Friday and just tagged me in it, and just put a blank page up which was orange, and that's all she did. And that's when I looked at that page, that post she put up. I said, there it is right there. Be Kind Friday has just been born. So thanks, Nez, because you're the one that kicked this off from that little post you put up, and it was there because we were unsure about a name at the start, whether it was going to be Nice Friday or Be Kind Friday. But yeah, it's crazy. And look, and we all got busy lives. You look at Lepa. Lepa's probably the busiest person you know. She's everywhere, and she still takes the time out to get involved in everything we do, and cook a like her famous burek, which is probably the best burek in Australia, right? So she's a popular woman, and she takes the time out to give back. So it's really nice to see.
Thanks,
well, that's just what awesome. And that's what I wanted to say as well. I just want to let everyone know that, and I just want to thank the businesses that are donating their products and stuff to you guys. And I want our viewers to, support. These are the businesses that you should support. So they're willing to make a difference in people's lives, and it all comes off the bottom line. Like anyone who understands business at all, everything's off the bottom line. So it doesn't matter if it's, it doesn't matter if it's something that they've been making for 100 years. Every time they give something away for somebody like Be Kind Friday to give out, that costs them, and so, it is just a really nice thing, and it's really encouraging to see that there are businesses out there. So, there's a lot of, I guess, people don't like these big businesses and all this kind of stuff anymore. But some of these big businesses, I guess, they do what they can to give back to the community, and they reach out to you people like Be Kind, like you guys, and actually support you. So it's a really, really good thing. So, people take the list of the people who are supporting these guys and actually buy from them. Show them your support as well.
Yeah, look, I'll give another shout out to Lynn Chocolate. I must say, look, obviously, we get a lot of their products that might have 2-3 months left on date. But I just sent them an email today again. Every 2 weeks before every event, I just sent an email to them, say, listen, can I get a pickup on this date? And I think the one just before Queensland when we did Stratfield, I picked up 160 kilos of chocolate, and it's an insane amount of chocolate, and the joy that brings to people, that chocolate. So it's a big part of our event now, and I know how much everyone loves the burek too. And like we try to give them a decent amount, but maybe now we just start chopping them down. There's so many people coming.
Yeah.
But,
can I ask Lepa, what is it burek or burek? How do you pronounce it, and what is it?
It's burek. It's a pastry dish with different fillings, predominantly meat, cheese, or spinach and cheese. Some people make it with apple or cherry. You can mix it up. We've done cherry and cheese.
Oh, really?
That was a hit and a miss.
And it's Eastern European?
Yeah. So a lot of Turkish people do make burek, and the Balkans, so Croatian, Serbs, Macedonian. We all enjoy burek, so it's quite popular overseas, predominantly as a breakfast, but here we eat it any time of the day.
Yeah, okay. So how are you finding running a food truck business at the moment? I know we don't want to get too political on the show, but with cost of living and council and different government regulations and things, like how are you finding it?
Council's really hard. As Pat knows, the paperwork involved with council is just next level. So they do make it hard, or if they get back to you at all, that's another one. But council's quite hard. I have permission in my local council, which then gives me permission to work in certain different other councils, but some councils won't have me there. So it's just quite difficult with councils. So I do a lot more of the catering side of things, so private functions, which keeps me going. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll put this question out to all of you, even Adam. I mean, you're mixing with the public when you're holding these events. I'm sure it's a real thrill and a good feeling to get in front of everyday people and put smiles on their faces. But how are people feel like with your interactions with people? How are they feeling? What's the general feel of the public on the ground at the moment? Are they in a good mindset, or are people struggling out there?
I'll go first. They're pissed with government. Literally pissed with government. Because what happens is, obviously, through obviously I'm the candidate and perpetual candidate, whatever, right? So it always, for some reason, I don't know if I've got, want to be politician on my head or something like that. But even in Queensland, okay, right, honestly.
Maybe they've been watching the show, Adam, mate.
Hey, maybe they have, or I don't know. Maybe my branding has, gone national or something. I'm not sure, but we get on to because how's it going? What's going on? Oh, cost of living this and blah blah, and I'll throw it to them. I say, the reason why electricity is so high is because they've got, they've increased with renewable energy, So we've got these stupid wind towers, and we've got solar factories everywhere, and then I go into all the facts that I've learned from the other special guests that we have, that they're flooding the market, driving up the wholesale price, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, okay, right. So then all of a sudden I know that there's a little bit of politics in there. And then they go, this bloody Labor government and all this kind of stuff. So people are really pissed. And I had one guy up in Queensland, actually. I can't remember his name offhand, but I remember his face. And I think his name was Malcolm, actually. Anyway, and he's talking to me about it. And he's like, loves One Nation, and I'm like, yeah, sweet, cool. I was a candidate for One Nation. And oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I was a Labor person, and I can't stand Labor now and what they're doing and all this kind of stuff. So, as I said, pissed with government, kind of pissed with the cost of living, and they know that politics could fix these issues. and they know that it's the politics that is driving these issues. And it doesn't matter what anyone tells them. So that's what I get. That's what I'm getting from the people. But I guess I'm tilted towards the politics side about it. So that's what I'm getting off people anyway.
What about you, Andrew?
Look, obviously, as I mentioned already, I work in hospitality. It's we can sense it even now in Queensland. We had a slight dip as well in business where I work. But like cost of living, from when it was, just post COVID, it just all went downhill. And I think obviously the contribution was with having, so many of those people still kept on those, I don't know what payments that they were getting. People just never wanted to go back to work. Then there was the excuse of everything of trade coming into Australia stopped. And then there was the war, everything stopped. And it's just excuse after excuse where I think they think we believe, all of this at the end of the day. But, people that have their eyes a bit wide open, know what's going on. But at the end of the day, we just have to ride the wave and just do what's best for us and see how we can, survive on our own, really. So, yeah. But
Pat, I know you're a big talker, but I can imagine you're running around like a madman at these events. Do you get a chance to talk to the public and hear their stories?
Yeah, look, definitely. So I'm the one that's out there trying to make that connection with people, because when there's a lot of people, it's hard to, you've got five or 10 seconds to introduce yourself, give them a bit of a rundown about Be Kind Friday and stuff like that. And obviously, cost of living is big, and people see this free breakfast, great, come and grab something to eat. But then we still get our message across to say, listen, this is what we're about. All we want is to put a smile on your face, and we want you to transfer that to someone else today. But then you don't know what a lot of those people are going through. And a lot of the time it's not financial, right? It's something that's happened in their life, or they're battling depression. And it's just seeing, for our group, that we care about the community and the people out there. So it's those few moments at every event that keep us driving through. And it's those little moments that you touch someone, they have a cry, you hug it out, and you just change their day. And it doesn't matter, even if it's just that one person at every event, that's made a huge difference, because now that person's going to go off, have a great day, maybe have a chat to someone else and say, look, that person had a chat with me, changed me, maybe I can do that to someone else. And like Adam has always said, it's a ripple effect. So for me, that's the sense that I'm getting. There's a lot of people hurting, and it could be financially driven, the depression and everything else. So it could all stem back to what Adam was saying before, the cost of living and everything else. It all stems down to, okay, now I'm depressed, I've got this much to pay, the mortgage is going through the roof. So I'm glad that we can offer something for free. At the same time, have a chat, tell them to slow down, tell them to recognize the people around them, and make a connection, smile. And try to plant a seed of kindness in someone else's heart, because we are better together than alone. So if we can always come together and just rely on the people around us, everyone's in it for themselves these days, which is very sad to see. I've always been the type of person to, whatever you need done, what do you need done, I'm there. But there's not many people left like that anymore. And look, it could be the financial part, or everyone's just selfish and they want more. They want the big house, they want the fast car. They see their neighbors have that. Then they just keep chasing, and they just keep digging themselves a really big hole. But if they can just break free from all that, and just remember that happiness is most important above everything. So you don't need that car. You don't need that big house. That makes no difference. Your true happiness comes from inside you, and not from materialistic things. That's my thought on the whole thing.
Lepa, you're actually out there handing people food and putting people, hopefully putting smiles on their faces, because it's so amazing. Do you get a good feeling from that?
Oh, I do, so much. Like I said, I've always been that kind of person anyway, but doing it in such a big group, the impact is quite large. And I'm sure everyone would remember, we not long ago did Strathfield, and we moved so many children's hearts that one morning. They went back to school. I don't know how many kids we served that day, Pat. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a lot. And yeah, the kids were great. Like whatever school that was, like, those young kids were getting their phones out and they were tapping and giving us donations. And my wife was saying they were so polite, and I think Lepa was saying too, they were so polite when they were grabbing the food and everything else. And it was just amazing to see all those kids so happy, so bright, going to school, giving each other hugs and high fives. And it's look, there's Lepa dancing there. She was having a great time.
I love dancing.
So guys, you know what? Like I'm just watching this, and I know how good I feel when I'm able to participate and help you guys out. I reckon you save some people's lives, eh? I mean, people are freaking miserable out there. And I think not just the free stuff and not the breakfast, and that always goes a long way. Don't get me wrong, because a full belly just makes you feel good anyway, right? And it's good, But what I'm saying is, like, you could have had, you wouldn't even know it, but you could have people who are just down on their luck, kind of ready. They're just about to snap. And you know what you've done? You've put a few straws back. They were on their last straw, and all of you guys, just from what you've done.
It's like that story. Sorry, Lepa. Sorry.
No, you're right.
It's just like that story I had up. Would have been about a month or two ago now, where it was just an average Friday, and I bought some flowers and I went to hand them out. And I'm not sure if you've seen it. That one young girl walking in our local shopping centre. I walked past. I had our mission statement in hand, and I went to give her the mission statement and a flower, and she said to me, no, that's okay. I said, please. I said, take one and have a read of this. And I just walked off. I was about 20 or 30 meters down the other side, and I was talking to another elderly lady, giving her a flower and stuff. And then I got a tap on the back, and there was that young girl again. And she was just standing there, and you could tell she was broken, like heavily broken. And she goes, I just want to say thank you. She had some bad news from a doctor, and she goes, that really made my day. But she was crying, and I cried with her, and I gave her a big hug. It's like, see, that's like you were just saying there, Adam. That person there, I would never have known that. No one would have known what she was going through. But that little moment there, changed her day. And said, okay, and just put a smile on her face. So now she might have been down in the dumps. She might have been depressed. Who knows what she was going through? But just that little moment. And I'm quite sure at every event that we do, those little moments are happening very, very regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Pat, as well, sorry.
No, I was just saying how, yes, we do give out free food. And even with my food truck, I actually use my food to connect with people. Like I said, through lockdown, it was quite tough for me. And having my food truck was a way of me to actually, because during lockdown, I noticed that everyone that could actually leave their home had to be an essential worker. So I saw the food trucks were allowed to work, so I bought a food truck. I thought, I'm not sitting at home anymore and getting into this bad depression. Nah, stuff it. So, through food, I was managed, I could connect with people. So I think we do use our food, like you said before, it's not about the free food, but it is about the connection we make. And even with the adults that, like Pat said, are going through things that we don't know, kids these days are going through so much. You just have to talk to one parent that have kids in school, and it's not easy. And I think that day, what we did for that school, the principal even contacted someone from, am I right, Pat? Just to say that whatever you guys have done has just brightened the school up that morning, and kids were just on a good high. And we need to bring that back in schools, because I think that a lot's being neglected, and there's a lot of ugly things going on. So anyway, I was happy we touched those kids in a good way.
Yeah, and look, Lepa's been at one of our school talks, and she's spoken at the schools too. So I think we need a lot more of that as well. Like, we're trying to work around that, and we're trying to book in some schools. We just, obviously, we all got jobs, but we love doing these school talks as well. And just, they're the next generation coming up. So if we can touch them moving forward, it's a job done. So I'd love to get into more schools and just teaching the kids about kindness. So I get, if there was like an elderly person going into a school, their connection might be lost. But I consider ourselves quite young sometimes, so we could still have that connection with the kids and say, listen, look, it's cool to be kind. But how did we get into this area where if you were a bully, a bad boy, you were the popular one, you were the one that everyone wanted to be, and you were the leader. I was like, how did we come to that? How did being kind get such a bad name? Like, if you're kind, you're soft. Like, people think, like, I am soft, but I have another side. If you piss me off, there's another side there too. But how did we get to that?
Hollywood.
How did we get to the point where being kind was not cool?
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hollywood labeled the kind ones as the weak ones. You know what I mean? But I think you guys are super strong people, all of you, and all the other team as well. So you got Tatum, you got Adam, you got Fran and Mario and everyone else, Daniela, Danielle, Danielle, everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, you've got all these people who are super strong, and it takes a lot to front up. So Stephen and we've campaigned. It takes a certain bit of courage to front up, and that's the team. It takes it, to front up and actually do the work. And you guys could, you open yourselves up because you are being a little bit vulnerable, and you are listening to people's stories. Okay. Yeah. And what happens is that's strength in character. It's one of the best things to be celebrated. And I that's why I think it's so. Stephen reached out to me and said, "Hey, get the Be Kind Friday guys on if you can," because it's Stephen always says, you're doing such an important thing and it's such a great thing. We should back it up. So that's what we want to do. So Stephen pushed me to get you guys on, and you always welcome anyway. You know what I mean? Just send us an update or something like that, and we'll get you on. So it's a really good thing you guys are doing, and I agree. The students, because I was with you guys when we did a local school in the Campbelltown area, and the kids are just like, I don't know. You put these kids, it's like this wasn't a particularly like downtrodden school and stuff like that. No. I'm going to put you into contact with another school. Actually, I want for you to reach out to right? Because there are schools out there where kids don't eat unless they're on the breakfast plan at school. Yeah. So they're like, and they don't get, they don't get anything like, and that was the thing.
Actually,
go for it. Go.
I think Lepa knows that lady. Is it Kathy's Kitchen? That does that type of stuff.
Which school was it? I forget. But yeah, she runs the canteen, and she does a lot of. I think she donates a lot of the food from her own. From her own pocket. Yeah,
she does that. She preps food, make sure that the kids have something to eat. But look, like you said, there's a lot of other schools that need work and that don't have funding for any type of events and stuff like that. And so look, it'd be nice to get out to there too. Look, if we can expand the crew, that'd be awesome too. Yeah. Like, ask Lepa if 1 year ago you thought we'd be here now where we are. It's like it's like we had this plan, but we didn't. It was just like step by step, and it just grew into this. It was like, where to next, and this is where we are, and we're loving it. But we always make sure that we stay true to what Be Kind Friday is all about. Like, obviously, we don't want to get too commercialized with things. We got to stay true to our heart. Make sure our message is clear. So we're obviously not just handing out free food all the time. It's the message has to be there. So we want to connect with people all the time. So it's like, where did you think we'd be, Lepa and Andrew? Like, Andrew was at our very first Zoom meeting. That was our very first one where Adam added you in. And like, where did you think we were going with this? I'll ask Lepa first.
Honestly,
and Andrew I'm asking the questions now, all right?
I actually don't know. I had no idea. I just knew that I loved being a part of something that gave back to people. And I strongly believe that it's not like a fluke. People that do come in cross our path, it's meant to be for them and for us. So that's I just enjoyed it. I didn't think we'd ever do Queensland.
Yeah. I actually felt a bit lost, at the beginning when I jumped online, and I'm like, okay, everyone's pretty much, from Sydney. What can I do to contribute? I had absolutely no idea, as Lepa said, that will ever be up in Queensland. But then, after a couple of meetings, I just began to have something grow inside me and say, you know what, I'm actually going to put it out there because I actually want to do it. What they're doing down in Sydney, I want to replicate in Queensland. Yeah, and I put my hand up, just out of my my wife, even before, you came up to Queensland, you were coming to my house, I hadn't even told her. I'm the kind of person when she realized like 22, 25 people were coming to our house, she's like, well, where are we going to put everyone? It's like, we got a small. I said, you know what? I want to give something to them. I want them to come here. I want to welcome them into our house because I feel we're a family now. We've been doing these Zooms for the past months. We're now a family, and there's no way I'd ever want to, lose contact or not help continue to grow what you have started and planted down in New South Wales. Why can't we expand it? Let's expand Queensland. You never know. Michelle might now take on Victoria. Before you know it, why not take over Australia? As we said, slowly, let's do this, But to be honest, look, I think what Pat said, just a couple of minutes ago is true. We need to remain true to what we want to be, spreading, and the message is important. It is about kindness. It is not about what we're giving away. So obviously the businesses we want to get, there might be businesses that might come on as silent sponsors. They just might not want to be seen. I think the next stage for us to elevate is maybe finding, and maybe this might be a shout out to whoever might be listening, if there is someone that maybe wants to come on board, from a financials perspective, to say, listen, we truly see what you're doing. This is our financial backing that we can give to this, to Be Kind Friday. And you never know, it will help us at least get the foundations right. Because at the end of the day, yes, we are doing these small activations, but I think the next step for us is actually tapping more into the schools. And before, Pat, you mentioned it, before Lepa was speaking, I was actually going to say, what yourself and Lepa and Renee went into the Oran Park Anglican College, for me, that is actually a really powerful message. And once we start tapping into the schools, like everything in life, we need to get the foundation right. Once we start getting the kids, and for them to understand, if the education system is not, putting out the right message to them, or maybe it's not effective enough to realize, that bullying isn't cool, being nice and kind is the way to go in life. If it takes people like us to take time out of our day to get the message across, 100% will do it. 100%. So
that's what the crazy left. Hey, the crazy left did that. They went in through the schools, mate, and then we'll see where we're at now, right? So that we have to, fight back. I'm not saying right wing, left wing. I'm just saying that it's a solid, good message is what you are trying to bring, and I think that's bringing kids back down to reality, saying, hey, right, let's just be friends. And the schools are a community, just like Be Kind Friday is a community, and how we're going into other communities, right? This, who wants to go to school warring or every day for you're at school half your life. So
we need to admit as well, sometimes, well, a lot of the time as well, people don't care about politics. So whatever way, whether it's through a schooling system, whether it is through politics, people understand now that they are opening their mind up as well, and realizing that not everything is face value when it comes to those strings. Whereas if they see independent people like us, registered non-for-profit organization, we've got no agenda apart from getting that message across, which is make people happy and spread the kindness. We might actually be the right channel for us to get these kind of messages across.
Absolutely.
Well, Andrew, that there's a saying that you might not care about politics, but politics cares about you. But you guys brought up a point. They try and divide us, and they try and divide us along the lines of race and sex and whatever it might be. If you have a look at your Facebook page here and you see the group all together, I mean, it looks like the UN. You've got everyone there, young, old, and male, female, every different color, every different shape you could possibly think of. I mean, I guess the message you're all trying to get across is, hey, we're all a community. And we're all together, and we've got to lean on each other. Just back in the day, like when I'd hear my grandparents talk about how they would borrow butter from their neighbor, or they borrow sugar from their neighbor, and that, it wasn't just always keeping everything to yourself and hoarding everything. You actually operated as a community and traded with each other, like just freely, just to keep everyone going and keep everyone moving along.
Exactly.
how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel
I
like
think
that's
it's
one of your main messages, bringing people together?
Yeah,
I think it has. Look, I mean, growing up, as you know, most of you probably might know, I'm originally from Malta, so I was born and bred in Malta. I moved here probably about 8.5 years ago. I remember, and probably the same like all of you, you know, growing up, we used to play in the street with our neighbors. It used to be an open door. The front door was open. Everyone's going in and out. You know, you see people across the road. You've got some extra food, you know, in your kitchen. You're like, oh, come and try and see what, you know, hand over a bowl of soup or some lasagna or anything that you've done. It was all about sharing. It was all about connecting. It was all about communication. Whereas, you know, we live here, it's like no one knows each other. You know, sometimes your neighbor would just go outside the road and just get into the car, you know, or just trying not to be seen and close the door and off they go with the day. You know, gone are the days where you could go out in the street and say, hey, good morning, how's your day going? You know, no one's got time for anyone.
Yeah.
And that is a really big change, I think, from our generation growing up to the world, to the way the world is today. You know, it's like everyone is just so socially awkward. Everyone is so socially anxious. And it's like no one trusts one another. It's like no one wants to welcome people into their house.
You know, that's a good point. I want to ask you this question. When you're out on the streets with, you know, interacting with people and you're going up to them, do they expect something from you? Like, are they expecting that you're looking for donations, or you want something from them? Is that the initial reaction?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes. People are hesitant as well, maybe because they see that I am a bit younger as well, you know, so they're like, oh, this is a bit weird, you know. And then when I say, listen, I'm not here for any donation, I'm not here for anything. I actually just want to share to you about what we are, about what activation we're having, you know. So once I skip that line with them, and then they feel really comfortable and they're like, you know what, this is actually really powerful. And to be honest, I must mention, you know, Shelley Curtis, who was here, you know, from council at Paradise Point. I actually sat down with her and planned a meeting, and she said, you know what, this actually is really nice. And she really came on board, you know, wholeheartedly. And she promoted the event for us. And on one of the events where she posted publicly, and I have to mention this as well, because honestly, she's been a gem to us. Obviously, one of the people commented, oh, well done, Shelley, you know, great to see you always supporting the community. She actually commented back and she said, this activation has actually been organized fully by Be Kind Friday. It was not a council thing, you know, because automatically the minute, you know, someone sees a politician, they think that it's all about them. But obviously they didn't know who Be Kind Friday was. So, you know, yeah, I have to commend and you know, take my hat off to the way she actually responded to that, because it was very nice to see such comment like that.
Yeah. So a lot of times at our activations, like you said, we go off to people. I said, happy Be Kind Friday, and I'll go hand them, you know, one of our mission statements, and like, no. And to get it kickstarted, I was like, would you like something to eat? It's free. And it's like, oh, it's free. Then at that moment, that's when I can start rambling on about what we are about and stuff like that. But it's just that initial hooking sometimes, you know. Lepa's seen it last time. I chased this lady down into the train station nearly at Strathfield because she was on a mission to go to work, and I just walked alongside. I had a quick chat, and gave her a rose, and then she was off to work. But it's like I said, we've only got that really short time. If we had a lot more members, we could touch a lot more people that come to the events, because I think we need to have a chat with every single one of them, even if it's just waiting in line for their food, and just say, this is what we're about and stuff like that, just to get the message across. But we really want them to obviously, want to have a ripple effect on all those people. So we need to have that chat instead of obviously just having a line of people getting free food. The connection needs to be made with every single one of them. Like, and even with, when we're talking about, Lepa was saying about how we all connected together and how we all come together. I just want to talk about the Kind Coffee Co. For a second.
Yes.
Up in Queensland, I was on the Thursday. I just got off at the airport. I was driving to my hotel, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. My mother-in-law spoke to someone overseas about Be Kind Friday. That lady then hopped onto a plane next to another lady, and that other lady was saying, oh, I own a company called the Kind Coffee Co. And she goes, oh, funny you say that. I was just talking to a lady talking about an organization called Be Kind Friday. And from that little conversation, and she checked our page, she's seen that we're having an event on the Gold Coast. She lives in Brisbane, and within 5 minutes, I've seen that you're having an event tomorrow. Is it okay if I bring some of my coffee cans? I said, sure thing. Within 10 minutes, she sent me a photo, her boot full, Esky's ready. And that morning, she was there, loaded up, had everything out. It's like, when in the world would you have thought a coffee company would have been called the Kind Coffee Co?
Yeah, I know, Kind. That's freaky. I didn't know that. I didn't know that story, Pat. I didn't know that story.
Yeah, that happened. That happened that afternoon, just before the event.
Yeah, wow.
And from now, look, she's loaded up Lepa's trailer on the way home. So we got some for our next event, and Lepa's made some connections for her too. You can talk about that, Lepa. You can explain from here.
Oh, can I just tell you that I took a few boxes. I had a job on today, Stephen, and I took some of these coffees with me and sampled them out as Jules requested, and they taste amazing. You guys need to try it. So she's got this coffee brand. It's a coffee in a can, and there's 3 flavors. There's mocha, latte, and there's double espresso, and they're all in Queensland and WA, but there's none in Sydney. So, yeah, that's another great connection I've made with them, that I'm just going to give them a hand and get their coffee out as much as I can on all my pop-ups. And every event that I go to, I'll take their coffee with me. And today's reaction was so positive. People were like, where can I get this? So hopefully they'll get some online. But, yeah, it's called Kind.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And we're all connected together. Like the name, everything else is just. And look at the way that's just networked through all of us now with Lepa, handing out a few, everyone giving everyone a taste, and we could all work with each other. Obviously, when people come on board, they get a bit of publicity through us. They get put on our banner, so it works hand in hand, and it's great to see. And like just getting that message coming up there, and just people just wanting to jump on is like awesome. Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
And I think it's just seeing people happy, because I think we've lost that. People are more stressed today due to, I guess, inflation, economy, working more. I actually found a lot of my friends, when they went into working from home after COVID, the hours became longer. I don't know why, but they were finishing at 9 and 10 o'clock at night and saying, all right, I'm just going to go eat dinner and log back on. I'm like, but when you used to work in the office, we finished at 5 or 6. I never understood that. So I think, the stress of life just people became less happier. And so I guess at our events, we see people smile, they're happy. And it's great to see that again.
Yeah.
Lepa, that was really interesting that you said that, because
I don't understand it.
Work from home became work all the time.
Yeah, it's still happening today.
Yeah, you used to turn well, some of us are all business owners and stuff like that, right? So business owners always work, okay? So that's the way it is, right? But normal people used to work. You go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, you turn your computer off at 5 o'clock or whatever you do, you finish your shift, and you're home. When you work from home, it's always on, because what happens is, you'll sit down for 20 minutes and do this and have lunch and blah, blah, blah. You might have a tradie come in or come out or something and then distract you, right? And then you still got all this other work to do, and you go, well, that's okay, I'll just work into the night. So people are working longer hours. It's kind of like, I reckon and probably on the same pay packet too, eh? The only difference is they think they're making more money because they're not spending money traveling to and from work. So it's become a bit more of an increase in their pocket. But they're working 10, 12-hour days now, where it used to be an 8-hour day and then you forget work and go home. So that was an interesting point there, Lepa.
I've had a lot of friends tell me that, they're working into the nights, and they have to because there's so much more work. If they've lost employees during COVID or whatever's happened, their workload's doubled as well. So, stress. Yeah. It's stress.
Yeah. See, a little bit of be kind.
Yeah, look, even for me with work, right? Like I work for myself. I'd rather do more of the Be Kind Friday stuff than my actual work, because I get more enjoyment out of doing the Be Kind Friday. Like I absolutely love it. I absolutely look forward to every single event that we do. Every single Friday, I'm always out doing something. And like the team we have, the conversations we have, it's always uplifting. And every event that we're at, it's that feeds me for like a week or two. You know what I mean? And I think we all need that every day. I think I said that in one of the school speeches. We all need to lift each other up. It's just a kind word or saying hi, acknowledging someone at school that you don't normally say hi to. Say hi to them, give a handshake, give a hug, whatever it is. But we all need to be recharged every day. So there's a lot of people that are out there that don't have that support around them. So I think that's where we come in, and it's like, you can be our family. We can support you. You can come down, have a chat, have a laugh. Like, you don't need to be in a rush. Look, you're gonna be 5-10 minutes late to work. Who cares? Honestly, who cares if you go in and the boss tells you off? Don't even worry about it. That alleviate some of the stress. Alleviate some of the stress. So, yeah.
Look, you guys are doing some great stuff, but the big question is, where do you go from here?
Well, maybe I'll let Andrew answer this, because he's blowing up Queensland at the moment, so he's doing all that stuff. But maybe Andrew can have a bit of an answer to that.
Look, I think, as I already mentioned, my aim over the next couple of months is to actually build a team here in Queensland, get some suppliers on board, and hopefully at the turn of the new year to actually start these activations on a more regular basis. Once that happens, I think my next step would actually be the schools. I truly believe that the schools is the next way for us.
Yeah. I honestly think that the same. Like, if we can book in some more schools, and look, also with our events, I've gone through Transport New South Wales, and they've given me the green light to do my events at train stations all through New South Wales. But then the other problem is you got Sydney Trains, which is separate to Transport New South Wales again, and there's another application again to get us in there. And I did have a chat to someone at Sydney Trains, and they were like, we stopped doing these type of things just as COVID come in. So I'm going to wait for their response to our upcoming events that we have in Penrith Station and Blacktown Station. And if there's going to be some, they're saying that we can't do it there, I'm going to ask them to take some initiative, to take some time out to make sure these events do happen, because it's up to them to make them happen. Because they can just say, yeah, we don't do them anymore. Why don't you do them? The community needs it. This is your job. Make sure it happens. Make it happen, whatever needs to happen. So I think people are just too so accustomed. They don't worry about it. Sometimes if they see my email, they say, okay, they just flick it to the side. Because most of the time with councils, I've got to call them multiple times to chase up. It's like, we want to do something in your community area, and they just keep the runaround. And then sometimes the fees are astronomical. And if there was a simpler way, it'd be great. But I just hope, look, we could do many more of these events all across Sydney and through Queensland, wherever Andrew's going to organise them. I'll be flying up there to go to those events. If we can expand through to Melbourne, that'd be great too. Look, I honestly love what we do. It's a small little setup that we have, but it just works great. And the people are fantastic. Hopefully Andrew can build an amazing team there too. Most of the people that will come forward are very genuine, and they'll probably be there for life. So it's not something where people just put their hand up because they want recognition, because it's not the type of people that we are. It comes from our heart. So I think a lot of people that jump on board are exactly the same.
Awesome. So you've got some upcoming events which you've got up on your Instagram page. So 5th of July, Dural, 2nd of August, Fairfield, 30th of August, Hornsby, 27th of September, Blacktown, 27th of October, Penrith, and the 6th of December, Cronulla. Will you also try and squeeze some other events in there, or that's it for the year?
I haven't spoken to the team, but I was thinking about one just before Christmas. I think the date is the 22nd. Because I remember last year, remember Lepa, we tried to squeeze in a few just to have the party. It's Christmas time, get the spirit out there. So I think I'm going to talk to everyone to see if they can have that Friday free. I know it's so close to Christmas, but it'd be great just to get the spirit out there and have the kids there, because the kids will be on holidays. So we'll see how we go. Look, if we can squeeze more, we can squeeze more. The thing is, obviously, with the people that support us, there's only so much we can ask from them as well as being a sponsor. So look, Normally we just do a monthly ones, but December we try to squeeze out probably 2.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'll go on record here. Well, I don't know if I should do that or not.
You're going to dress up. You're going to dress up as Santa Claus.
I'm not going to do it actually. No, I'm not going to go on record. No, because I'm just going to. Because I just thought. I just thought Tatum might organize something, and I'm like, I can't do it. So yeah, but I'll if you do one for 22nd of December, I'll dress up as Santa Claus or something.
Oh, yes, I knew.
Right,
we're going to keep that on the down low, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just have to dye the beard.
Well, no, I think by then it'll be grey enough. Don't worry. It's getting greyer by the day.
All right, awesome stuff, guys. Now you can follow Be Kind Friday. Is Instagram the best spot to go, Pat?
Yeah, Instagram is the most active. We do share a lot of our content over to our Facebook page, but we're most active on our Instagram page, or they can flick us an email. Either way, but if anyone wants to get involved or support us in donations or anything else in any shape or form, or even contribute to our weekly giveaways, get in contact with us. Look, we're happy to have a chat. Even if you're a principal at a school or a teacher at a school or a parent at a school, and you want us at your school, send us a message. There's been a few people already. I know I've been making a lot of people wait for us to go to their schools, but the Queensland event was a big event. There's a lot of organising into that, but we will get back on track and try to book in at least one school a month along with our events too, just to get the ball rolling and then push forward from there.
Awesome.
And I guess final question: if you could have your way, where would you like to take this eventually? Like, what's the ultimate for you?
For myself.
Cool. Okay, I guess for each one of you, or they go. We'll start with you, Pat.
I think that the dream for me would have, the big van wrapped up, Be Kind Fridays as the big Be Kind Friday van, have all our equipment in there, and we just travel around doing these events everywhere. Look, as far as going further than the events, look, getting into schools, maybe having a little curriculum for the actual classroom on a Friday. Have a wall where everything's acknowledged, and kindness is taught in the classroom, not just by us coming to speak about it, but there's a little segment that's just speaking about kindness and how they can go out in their days to do random acts of kindness. So even as kids, so I think, like Andrew said before, that's the platform, that's where it needs to start. So I think that'd be awesome if it was to start there and just push on from there.
And Andrew, I'm sure you've got some big plans.
Look, to be honest, from my end, I actually just hope that Be Kind Friday could come up to a situation where we're actually influencing society.
Yeah,
that's essentially where we want to be. Youth crime is on the rise across. I can speak for the Gold Coast at least. Yeah. If we can, get into that foundation and do the job which maybe other people should be doing, but at least we live in a society where people are acknowledging one another, people are living happy, we're living free, then I think we've accomplished what, we started planting that seed for. And you never know, in 10, 15 years time, people might look at us and say, you know what, we've actually had an impact on society. And I think that's my ultimate wish.
Oh, well said, Andrew, well said.
And Lupa, you'll get the final say.
Oh goodness. Look, I'm pretty much the same as the boys. What they've said. For this to continue would be amazing. For it to probably grow, like WA, Pat.
Yeah, that's another area. Yeah.
I want to get to WA.
Are you going to drive?
I'll drive. I'll drive the trailer. Take 5 days. I'll do it. No,
yes,
but
you would.
Honestly, sorry.
You would. I know you would.
I would. I would. The sky's the limit, but to continue the kindness and just spreading the kindness around with the ripple of effect and creating the wave. But for me personally, I think the schools is a big deal for me, and maybe being a mentor or a support network for the girls in schools, and just showing them the way, I guess, of being kind and supporting each other, because I think that's a big thing with
And
with
if people want to check out your amazing food truck, Where do they go? Because I'm sure you're on the road all the time. How do they taste your amazing food?
Well, we do pop-ups, so I do advertise on Instagram where we'll be. I've just started doing workshops for the first time, so teaching people how to actually make the burek. So that's a workshop I'm doing in the next 2 weeks here just in Western Sydney. But the next one's actually going to be in Queensland, Andrew. So you'll see me.
I finally,
Yeah, so workshops, pop-ups. Like I said, catering does keep me quite busy, corporate catering, private events. But yeah, so just on Instagram.
And Pat, how do you donate? If the people want, if people watching this want to donate.
Yeah, if you go to our Instagram page on the highlight reels, there'll be a link that says donate. If you click on that, it's got our banking details, and you can send us whatever you like. Look, every bit helps. Obviously, at our events, we do sell wristbands, t-shirts, and hats, and a little bit of that. Obviously, the profit from that goes back into our events, and we get donations. But look, every bit counts. Like we do pull a lot of money out of our own pockets. At each and every event, like it's not completely covered, so it does cost us money. We love doing it, so regardless whether we get those donations or not, we're still going to keep pushing forward. But it'd be a lot easier just having people on board and a few donations coming through just to make it a bit easier for us. That's all.
I don't know why Instagram keeps unfollowing me from your page.
Does it?
Every time I go, I must have followed you guys like 10 times now. I don't know.
It just keeps bouncing back.
No, just like I'll just go on there like to look at something and it will say follow. I'm like, I'm already following you guys from the last podcast we did.
Get on to them, mate. That's bad.
Oh, it's just,
Anyway,
I'm finding I'm having to like follow people all the time, like Facebook, Instagram, like people that I know, and I've always followed them. And it's like it says, "Oh, follow this person." I'm like,
I do.
You're heavily censored and shadow banned. It's okay.
Oh, it's just fun, some fun
it means
stuff.
it means you're doing the right thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess so. Well, you guys are definitely doing the right thing. So thank you very much for everything you've been doing, Adam included. You guys are amazing, and
it's not Adam me, it's the other Adam. So just so everybody knows, Adam from the previous episode. Okay, other Adam. Okay, not me. So just because
I was talking about you, Adam, but Adam as well.
Yeah,
the other Adam as well.
Hey, I only help out here and there when I can, but these guys are the guys. So
well
look,
our whole team.
Yeah, the whole team.
Like, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Like, and I must say too, before we go, a lot of times you do see on our videos. A lot of time it's me on the videos or someone else that's handing out things, but it's the people behind those barbecues or those tables, prepping the food, cooking the barbecue, handing out the water, making those rolls. Each and every time, that's a crew of 6 or 7 people that rarely get seen on our socials. But if it wasn't for those people, the events wouldn't happen at all, because we need a team of a minimum 10 at every event to make it happen. And those people behind the table are there at each and every event, and they get in there. And the guys on the barbecue, whether it be David, my dad, or Mario, for that 3-4 hours, they are non-stop cooking. And they might start at 6:30, and they do not move, and they just keep pumping out. And I got my wife cutting the bread, serving. Lepa was serving at Stratford also. But it's those people behind those tables that make it happen. So thank you.
Excellent.
Big thank you to all of you. Big thank you to your team, and big thank you for everything that you're doing. If anyone wants to get involved, we mentioned, head to the Instagram page and you can donate, you can sign up, you can put your hand up, and hopefully you guys can expand and we'll see these Be Kind Fridays in all parts of Australia. And who knows, you may even go to New Zealand and other parts of the world.
Yes.
You don't know, maybe you end up in Malta, you never know.
Malta,
so,
You never know.
I'll be in Malta. I'll serve out pastis.
Yes.
And look, if you've watched this episode tonight, I know I say it every week. These always seem to get more and more important, but share this out and let people know about this. Even if you don't share this podcast, at least let everyone know what Pat and Andrew and Lepa are doing, and all the team at Be Kind Friday, because they need your support. Any donations that you can send them I'm sure will be much appreciated. And if you want to put your hand up and be involved in these days, I mean, they look fantastic and they look like they'll fill you with a lot of joy and also the people around you with a lot of joy. So get behind them, spread the word, share the word, and thank you again, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
Thank
you
you
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.